that already started recording when I clicked it into place. Whoopee. Not bad, not bad. We're a little bit closer in today because it's time to tier rank all of the books that I've read over the past 4 months. So if you've been here before for my tier ranking videos, I do these on, I don't even know what I would call them because they're not quarterly, they're not like bi-yearly, bi-half yearly, you know, whatever. I do them 3 times a year. I do them for the first chunk of 4 books that I read, the middle 4 months of the year, and the last 4 months of the year. So we're at the middle months. So I have my books here tier rank, and also if you've been here before, then you may be aware that I have issues with the tier ranking website. So I always end up using Canva. I've made my own. I haven't changed the categories. They're still the same. So that's what it's gonna be. And let's go ahead and jump right on in. Okay, so you got my screen here. So we got God tier, self-explanatory, it's God tier book. We got I Love Her. I love her. She's not God tier, but then we got Damn Good Time. I had a damn good time while reading it. It's not necessarily like an, oh my gosh, I love her, but like I still really enjoyed myself. Good, fine, whatever. It was good, fine, whatever. Don't really have a problem with it, but don't really like love it. Just kind of like that neutral ground kind of territory. Strong smut game for the books that should be applauded for the strong smut that they bring into our lives. And pretty much normally those are the ones where it's like that's the main focus of them. And I feel like they should just be acknowledged for what they bring. And then it was a book. It's a book. It's a book. And that's what I can say about it. So anyways, we go down below here. These are all the books that I have read between May and August. I think this actually might be the least amount of books I've ever had to tier rank before. I've had a slow few reading months between like the summer, vacations, book signings, just things going on, projects that have been taking some of my time, a lot of my time. Stay tuned, y'all. Let's get in here. I don't have that many books to tier rank. So let's go ahead though and grab the first, I think what we normally do like the first 5. Let's go ahead and pull the first 5 up here to get started. Okay, so first up, Alphas Like Us. We're gonna start strong out of the gate, and that is going straight to God tier. This is my favorite book of Mafia and Pharaoh's story. This is the 3rd book in the Like Us series. If you watched my vlog, you know how much I loved this book. If you've watched any of my wrap-ups or just heard me talking recently, I have been loving the Like Us series this year, and this book in particular is my 2nd favorite that I've read so far. My first favorite is still down below, so we will tier rank her when we get to her. But this one right here, he's a God tier. Absolutely love him. The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe. So I read this one on audio, and I don't really read a lot of historicals, but I really loved the purple one in this series. I think The Lady Gets Lucky. This one, it was like good, fine, whatever. I enjoyed it. I can still remember like listening to it distinctly when I was like out on my evening walks, because this was right as the weather was starting to get nice. So this was like the first audiobook I listened to on all my hot girl walks around the neighborhood. However, I like don't really remember anything super distinct about the book itself, but like I remember liking it, but not like loving it. So it's gonna reside there. Wretched by, is it Wretched or is it Wretched? I don't know. This book by Emily McIntyre, that one's gonna go in Damn Good Time. Again, I listened to the audiobook of this one, and I've really been enjoying reading these books that way. I read the first one physically, but the other 3 that I've read, I've listened to the audios, and I love the audios for these books. I think they're cast very well, and I really liked this story. It's not my favorite in the series, but I did have a lot of fun reading it, even if I don't know the Wizard of Oz story. And like, don't come at me. I'm never going to watch the movie. Then we have Set by Alexandria House. In this one, it's going there. It's going into strong smut game. Because once again, it should be applauded for its smut. And this one was just really hot. So it gets to be the first one in that category today. And then we have Snow by Sophie Lark. This one's gonna go in good, fine, whatever. I didn't love this one. It was fine. But I think this is the only Sophie Lark book I've given 3 stars. And I think I gave this one 3.5, but still 3 stars nonetheless. All of her other books I've given 4 or 5 stars. Like I love the entire Brutal Birthright series. I really enjoyed The Heir. I enjoyed the other ones that I read in the series. What was the first one? The Assassin one? I liked that one a lot. This one, I don't even really remember what it was. I just don't think I ever really connected with the characters or like cared about the story a lot. So honestly, he can stay there. He's fine there. That's where you get to reside. Okay, we got our next 5 books here. So next up we have Close Quarters by Candy Steiner, and this one is also gonna go in good, fine, whatever. I liked it. I think it's fine. It's not my favorite Candy Steiner book by far. And I think my biggest issue with this one was the heroine. She was very much a, like men don't ever look at me. I don't know how to like dress myself or like do my hair, wear makeup, like just that kind of like energy. But then like the billionaire yacht owner, the second he sees her, is like in love with her. I don't know. It just was not my favorite, and I was really looking forward to it because I was on a big Below Deck kick at the time when I read it, but I just didn't really care for it that much. But it's like fine. Like I don't think it's a bad book by any means. It's just not my favorite. Then we have Primal by Jenica Snow. Again, you're going right to strong smut game because oh my gosh, it's a reverse harem, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears kind of deal. Ugh, and they think that she's all of their mates. Like 100 pages of just absolute insanity, but a lot of fun, and it deserves that category. The Reluctant Bride by Monica Murphy. I'm going to put this one in damn good time. I really enjoyed this one. So this is a part of the Midnight Dynasty series, which I am still trying to like make my way through slowly but surely. And I forget how this one is connected in with the families, but it's obviously like an arranged marriage. It was, again, it's just hot. They're fun. They're all like rich people. An arranged marriage where like her dad sucks and like they don't want to be together, but they end up having to get married to each other. Like honestly, it's just kind of good, you know. It's just a fun time, so it's gonna go there. And now we have Tangled Like Us. You get to go up there by your cousin, because let me just tell you, Tangled Like Us is fighting for my top book of the year right now with another book, which I think it's not down here. No, I read it earlier on in the year, but Tangled Like Us, that book, I mean, I don't even have words for how much I loved that book and how much I love Jane and Thatcher. So I don't see another book in the Like Us series passing that one. I've only read the first 5 still. I've yet to finish. I think I'm behind now like 7 other books. There's way more in the series, but I seriously don't see another one passing Tangled Like Us. I absolutely love that book. And then Undulate by Elodie Hart. This one's going in I Love Her, the second book in the Alchemy series. Elodie Hart is one of my favorite authors that I've like found this year, found their books this year. Cheyenne had found the first one for a read along, and then we read Undulate for our smut club, and they're both just so good. I have Unveiled, the third one, downloaded on my Kindle. I just know going into them, they're gonna be really hot, really good writing, and good characters. So like, what more can I ask for? Okay, we got the next 5 here. Ivy by Willa Nash. This one, because here's the thing, when I was reading it, I enjoyed it more. Now sitting on it, I'm just kind of like, it felt like a lot of buildup for like nothing. I'm gonna put it in good, fine, whatever. I'd say the reading experience kept me on my toes, but then at the end, it almost felt like there was so much kind of like buildup on certain things, and then like not much really happened at the end. Like it just felt a little like anticlimactic. Isn't that how you say it? I feel like I always say it, and then when I listen to it back when I'm editing, it sounds like I'm saying it wrong, so I very well could be, but like, whatever. But Ivy, I don't know. It feels right to put it there. Like when I look at these books all together, like they all kind of like, they work. Then Her Master's Teacher by Lily White. This one is going in damn good time. Way darker than I anticipated. I thought that this was just going to be a student-teacher romance, and that, yeah, I knew that she was going to like become his, or that he would become his teacher's master, obviously from the title, but I thought that it was going to be voluntary. It is not. But I really enjoyed it. Lily White really goes there with her writing, and I appreciate it. Locked Up Liars by Elle Thorpe. This book was fun, straight up, damn good time. I enjoyed myself while reading this. It was a little unhinged at times, and it's a reverse harem with a heroine who her sister was murdered, and the guy who was convicted of murdering her, I don't think he actually did it, but he was sent to jail, and it's between him, then the lawyer, and I think a parole or like an officer at the prison. But you really don't explore all 3 of those romances yet. I haven't finished the series, but it was like a fun time, and it would be one that I'd like to go back to and finish in the future. Mile High by Liz Tomford. Again, I'm gonna put this one in damn good time. I really enjoyed it. It did get a little long for me at the end, and I was listening to the audiobook, and by the end of it, I think I actually ended up picking up the physical book because I was like, I feel like I can read this quicker, and it just, I don't love third act breakups, so, you know, the ending kind of like annoyed me a little bit, but overall I did really enjoy it, and I get why everyone loves it, and I know I will read The Right Move eventually. I will get to it. I just haven't yet. It's a thick boy. And then Sinful Like Us by Kristen Becker Ritchie. Again, this one's going in I Love Her. Here's the thing. I think because I loved Tangled Like Us so much. There was no way that I thought Jane and Thatcher's second book could top their first book. And like it didn't to me. Like I still really enjoyed Sinful Like Us a lot. However, it did not top their first book. Where like Alphas Like Us and Tangled Like Us, those are like Mafia and Pharaohs and Jane and Thatcher's supreme books. But, you know, Sinful Like Us was still good. It just wasn't, you know, as much as Tangled Like Us. Okay, now we got our next 5. We got a string of 5 stars here. We got 3 5 stars in a row, but again, not all 5 stars are the same, but actually I think these ones might all be the same. Between Hello and Goodbye, that's going in I Love Her. I really loved this book. I read it for a vlog before Book Bonanza, and this book was just very emotional, and I wasn't expecting that. I love seeing long distance romances in books, so I really enjoyed that part of it, and I just thought it was a really beautifully written book. So overall, like, I don't really have any complaints about it. Keep Her Safe by QB, y'all already know. Still is not my favorite QB book, but I really enjoyed this one, again, like I do with literally all of her books. A bodyguard romance, and I just love a bodyguard. Actually, I think I'm going to be ready to do a bodyguard trope recommendation video for you guys soon. I'm currently reading another one, and if I like it, that is, then I think I'll have enough. Otherwise, I think I maybe only have like 5 or 6 recs right now, and I like to have maybe like towards 7, so potentially be waiting for that. And if I do, Keep Her Safe is definitely going to be in there. If you know anything about QB, you know it's going to be hot, you know it's going to be fun, you know it's going to be quick to get into, you know it's going to be enjoyable to read, and I'm always going to have a good time. So, love her. My Life in Shambles, again, this one could almost be God tier. This has potential to be in my top 10 at the end of the year. I'm really trying to be diligent about like separating between like what is actually God tier and what is just I love her. So she's gonna go in I love her right now, but she has potential to be in my top 10 at the end of the year and potential to be God tier. Actually, let me scroll up here. What did I have in God here? See, I really kept that small. Okay, yep. So we're going to keep it in I Love Her, but oh my God, that book was so good. And like for them to have like a one night stand kind of thing that turns into something more, normally I feel like that one night stand has no like feeling, no emotion behind it, but I felt so much connection between those two characters in such a short amount of time. I have no idea how Karina Halley did it, and that book is like actually incredible. You know what? It's gonna go up to God. It's gonna go up to God. That might move, but it's gonna go up there right now because it's just so good. Now this one, The Doctor's Duty. So I was told by one of my friends that this was the most unhinged thing they had ever read. And you all know how much I love reading unhinged novellas. I mean, see my Christmas vlog that I did last year. This truly, it's a book, and I honestly just don't even want to talk about it anymore. And then Last Resort by Kay Bromberg. I'm gonna put this one in good, fine, whatever. This book is like, I don't think this is a bad book. Again, I enjoyed it. It just came at a time where I was like really sick of billionaire romances, but I was reading it for a vlog, so I like had to finish it, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. So it's really not the book's fault. So that's why it's like, I'd still recommend it. I still think it's a fine book. Like I still enjoyed it. It's not like a favorite of mine. Okay, so we got the next batch here. So The Wicked by Rosie Alice. This one, again, this one was really good. This one is for sure going in I Love Her. Come on. It has been very hard for me, I feel like, lately to find a student-teacher romance that I love. I feel like so many of them get into things so quickly, they just don't care. And like what I love about that trope so much is that it is so angsty. It's supposed to be very forbidden. There are consequences. There are like real life things that could happen if these two are discovered and like crossing those boundaries. And I just love that like normally they try to fight it. And this one like kind of fell into that, but also just like had a bit of a twist on it a little bit. I don't even want to say anything without spoiling it, except that I would highly recommend this book, and I really loved her. Then we have Complicated by Lola Finn, Strong Smut Game. This one is part of the Haven Cove series, and it's basically, I describe it as like Lava Springs, but for like older people, not like older people, but for like college-aged and like young adults, rather than like high schoolers. And I mean, they're all just like hot and hooking up with each other over the summer. What more can you ask for in a little summer novella? Not much, if you ask me. And then we have The Heir by Sophie Lark. I'm gonna put this one in damn good time. Here's the thing, I really enjoyed this one, and I really like the whole idea of kingmakers. I think, I just loved the parents' book so much that I went into it with very high expectations, and it's not that those weren't met, it was just kind of like, I didn't love it as much as like Savage Lover or Heavy Crown. And I still enjoyed it. I'm still gonna keep going, but also I think think the other thing that kind of threw me off was there's a 3-person POV in it. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Dean. So, and not because he's like mean, it's because I think that he's like a whiny little bitch. So, I don't know. We will see if my tune changes by the time I read The Bully. But for now, this one gets to reside with the Damn Good Time crowd. Then we have Deliver by Pam Godwin. It feels weird putting this one in Damn Good Time because it's dark and twisted and messed up. It's captor captive, but she's the captor and he's the captive, which like I've never read before. It's one that you just kind of have to read to understand. I don't typically like romances like this. It does deal with trafficking, and I have not found a single one ever that has worked for me, but this one really did. And I mean, like, I'm not surprised that Pam Godwin could sell me on it. And finally, a Pam Godwin book where there is no animal violence in it, so love to see it. And then Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. Here's the thing, when I first started this book, for like the first 25%, I was like, this could be like a favorite of the month for me. But then it just kind of fizzled out. I'm going to put this in Good, Fine, Whatever. My biggest thing with this, I thought it was a cool idea. It's like 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I liked their romance because they're literally like, he is sent to kill humanity. So like they really cannot ever be together. And she kills him at the beginning, but he's like unkillable. So then he's like, you're going to be my prisoner. And that's the entire portion of the book, is her being his prisoner and like watching humanity die and like seeing what he's doing, but then also starting to like fall in love with him. Super cool premise, right? I got so bored of them just like going door to door and like staying overnight. It was like trot on his horse, go to the house, break in, sleep there, get back on the horse, new city. Like it just got kind of repetitive for me, but I still had a good time reading it. It just like, it kind of fizzled out for me. And then lastly, we have The Antihero by Sarah Kate. And this one makes me really sad to put it in Good, Fine, Whatever, just because I still liked it enough. I just felt no connection to the characters or like the story overall, where I find myself with every single Salacious Players Club book, I found myself like personally invested in those characters and their stories, you know, even ones that like are probably my least favorite of the series, like Give Me More, still gave it 4 stars, like still really enjoyed it. But like even that one, I still found myself like invested in those characters. These two, I was just kind of like, I don't really care. I don't really care if you guys end up together. Like, cool if you do, if you don't, whatever. I don't know. I liked it enough, but because it's like a Sarah Kate book, like it's good, but it just wasn't my favorite. It's No Mercy. No Mercy. Mercy will forever and always be God tier. God tier. And also how ironic that it got the best cover of the new like Bloom covers. Did y'all see those? Y'all seen the Salacious Players? I've talked about the Praise cover before, but have y'all seen like those new covers? And that Mercy got the best one, as it should, as Bo and Maggie should. Okay, anyways, we got the next 5 in a little while by Penelope Black. Once again, we got Strong Smut Game. If you've read this, you know, but it's literally about like a mafia daughter. She's not like really in the mafia, whatever. I don't know. She's like 19. She gets sent off to live with her ex-boyfriend for the summer and his 3 hot non-blood related uncles. And she ends up hooking up with them all summer. What's not to like? No Tomorrow. Cheyenne, I hope you're not watching this. It just was not, once again, I never really quite felt connected to the story or to the characters, and I felt like the beginning was really slow for me, and then finally when I felt like things were picking up, then we stopped and it was a time jump, and I was like, okay, fine, let's see how this time jump goes. And then even in the time jump, I was just kind of like, I really wish we got Blue's POV. I think that would have made this book, for me if we got Blue's POV. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Those 3 little words. You know what? Honestly, I'm putting it in Good, Fine, Whatever. You know, here's the thing. This heroine, one of my like least favorite heroines I've read this entire year. However, the book itself, I do enjoy a good rage read every once in a while, and there were certain parts of this that I did enjoy rage reading, especially when they were talking about like naming their kid like Johnny Jim or Peggy Leggy. I was like, actually, what is going on here? But if I said that I didn't like partially enjoy myself while reading this book, I would be lying. So I'm gonna put it there. Also, I love that it was a surprise or like accidental pregnancy, but we don't see that kid once. She is pregnant the whole book. That is how I want an accidental pregnancy to be. I don't want to see the kid out. Nope, I don't want to see when it has to like be sustained outside of the womb. Just like have her be pregnant, because I don't mind an accidental pregnancy trope. I just don't like children. Then we have Deconstructing Delilah. Honestly, is she gonna go on I Love Her? This book was really surprising to me. So it's dealing with cults, but then there's also like a sex club in it that I was really surprised by. I don't know, Cheyenne and I read it for Smut Club, and I remember, like, I think she had found it. I don't know why, maybe she's read one other Allison Rimes book, and I hadn't read one before, but I love a good, like, book where it's about someone, like, deconstructing from, like, religious trauma, or, like, things like that, you know, of that nature, and this, like, ended up really surprising me, and again, there's a time jump in it, kind of like in The Wicked, that was really well utilized and, like, really needed for the story, and it was just a really good book. I really enjoyed it a lot. And last we have An Unwanted Guest. I'm going to put this one in Damn Good Time. This is a thriller. I really enjoyed this one. And yeah, it kept me guessing. And again, at the end, I felt like the ending was like pretty satisfying. Not like the best thriller I've ever read, but it is a whodunit. And I've just kind of been needing that like whodunit itch scratched ever since finishing Poker Face. So it was a good time. Okay, and we got our last 6 books here. I told you we didn't have a whole lot to tier rank today. Carrie Soto's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh my God tier. I love this book, and I'm kind of like, will I put it on my top 10? Because normally I try to just keep that for romances, but like, I'm honestly like, this is probably going to end up on my top 10 at the end of the year. I love this. There is a romance in it. It's just not the main focus. It's like just fiction. I don't know, whatever. It's a not like a romance book. But oh my God, it's my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book I've read so far. And that's saying a lot, because Evelyn Hugo, for a while, I was like, that is like my favorite book. And then Daisy Jones and the Six, I was like, now this one's my favorite. And now with Carrie Soto, I'm like, this one's my favorite. I just love a heroine who is supposed to be like unlikable, but she's so likable to me. And she's just the baddest bitch, and people can't handle that, and that's why they don't like her. Because she's a tennis star, a tennis legend, and when she comes back, people are like, oh, she's like old, whatever, like the bitch is back, all this like stuff about her, and she's like, you're just mad because I'm great. And I'm like, period, because she can back it up. So I loved that book. King of the Court by R.S. Gray. Okay, here's the thing. I definitely liked this one more than I liked Three Little Words. Honestly, Three Little Words should no, because it doesn't belong in Strong Smut Game. And it doesn't belong in like, because it doesn't belong next to that. It was a book. So I don't know. I feel like this one deserves its own little like floating island, but regardless, it's going to have to sit there. But King of the Court, I enjoyed this one. It's a sports romance and I liked it enough. Again, it's not a favorite. It's not bad. It's not the best. It's just like, it was solid. It was an enjoyable read. Girl Going Nowhere by B. Celeste. Honestly, this really pains me, but I am gonna have to put this one down, and it was a book. I was so disappointed by this one. Y'all know how much I love B. Celeste's books. Like, some of her books are like some of my top books of all time. And so I was really excited for this one, because she was like, this is like the smutty side of B. Celeste. She's like, I'm just gonna write like a smutty little novella for y'all. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for blessing us with this. And then it was like MMFM and like roommates and all this stuff, like cool tropes. But there seemed to be so much random plot thrown in this that like didn't really make any sense. It seemed to like bog the story down. The characters didn't even seem like all that believable together. I don't even know how it ended, because by the end I was literally just like trying to be done with it. I don't know. This did not feel anything to me like a B. Celeste book, or like the things that I love. And her books are very character driven. So then I don't know why it felt like in this one, and the one that should just be like all hot and no plot, that there seemed to be more plot in this one than there are in like some of her books. I don't know. I was so disappointed by it though. So that's where it's gonna lie, but that made me really sad. Fate to Fault by Andy Sims. Y'all, a woman hooking up with her 2 stepchildren at the funeral of her dead husband. Also, the stepchildren are not related, but it was a fun time. I think I was one of the only ones in our book club that enjoyed this one, but I enjoyed it. It was what I needed. It was like 100 pages of pure smut, and it deserves to be here with these other folks. Rule by Cassandra Robbins. I'm gonna put this one in Good Fine Whatever. Oh no, you know what? It's gonna go up to Damn Good Time, because it's a fun book. It's a fun book. It's a little like, It's a little haywire at times, which I found with Power, but that's what kind of makes it like even more enjoyable. Here's the thing though, it's a student teacher, and you know how I was talking about earlier how I'm sick of student teacher books like not feeling forbidden? This one is one of those where it doesn't feel forbidden in the slightest, because literally neither of them care whatsoever. They're hooking up, or they're kissing by like 10%, and they're like doing stuff in his office by like the 25%. Like there's no angst whatsoever to be found in it, but it was fun. It was a fun book. Like, I enjoyed my time reading it. And last but not least, Twisted by Emily McIntyre. That one is also going to go in damn good time. I enjoyed this one. I'd say I liked it more than Wretched, but it still doesn't beat Scarred. So that's kind of like where it falls for me in the ranking. But again, the audiobooks are really great to these, and I really enjoyed it. So that is all of the books that I had to tier rank. Let's look over this. I feel like honestly this list is really freaking solid. I don't think I actually need to make any adjustments except that those three little words doesn't fit there. Like that literally, I'm telling you, needs to have a category between like good, fine, and whatever, and like it was a book. Because it's not down here, but it's not up here. So honestly, this one does not belong, but I don't know where else to put it. And I'm not going to make another category for that single book because that book doesn't deserve that much time and attention from me. So anyways, that is it for today's video. That is what I got for you. Next week on Tuesday, I'm going to have a books that you recommended me video. I'm excited to do that because I actually got a question for my for my chat chill and get ready with me for August. Which I don't think I got time to answer, but it was like, would you ever do a vlog of like books people recommend for you? So I was like, well, let me go ahead and like see what books you guys would recommend to me. So this video is going up on Friday, which is what, the 15th? Oh, interesting. That's like 31 days out from something. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you when I see ya.